Hey guys, Common Sense Outdoorsman here. I want to talk about dispatch knives. A few months ago, I did a video on this very inexpensive, simple knives. You can go back to that video and check it out. And I thought it was a very good knife, 3CR13 MOV steel. Did very well for a lightweight, very lightweight, Mora-esque type knife with the pouch. And so this is a Chinese made knife. And so the company contacted me, Dispatch Knives, and they said, hey, pick out whatever you want to review. We'll send it to you and we'll offer your anybody who watches a discount code. So here are 5 other items. I only chose 5 other items, okay? But there will be a discount code, 30% off discount code. But so I chose this knife. They have several different like this in the series. They call these type of knives their tactical survival Bowie knives, and they describe them as a combat knife, Rambo knife, survival knife. Well, it's not that, but it is a good knife, okay? And I also believe this steel is 3CR13 MOV. Continue watching the video. I've got some usage footage. Watch what I did with this knife. Now, this is not a full tang knife, and it's not really a combat knife. The tang is molded into this rubberized plasticky handle. Comes about to this point. I checked with my magnet. So the first thing I wanted to know is this blade going to be strong enough in this handle? So I did some testing, and it is. Watch the footage. But this is not a combat or a survival knife per se. Excuse me. So why did I get this knife? I thought it would make, it's just a thin steel, just as thin as the other one. Okay? So it's not thick enough, and it's not full tang enough to be a survival or a combat knife. I won't get into the differences of a combat knife, but this is not it. But I thought, in looking at it, it's lightweight, 7.3 ounces. I thought it would make a good pig sticker for hog hunting, or possibly a fighting knife, not a combat knife. Why a fighting knife or a pig sticker? Well, it's set up that way. It's light. It's got a long 7.5-inch blade. It does have the pommel area that will help you grab, get a hold of the knife and be able to pull it out, whatever you stab. And it does have a guard, and the guard is fairly tough, even though it's a rubberized plastic. So maybe a fighter or a pig sticker, but certainly not heavy duty enough to be a combat or a survival knife per se. Could you survive with this knife? Sure, but not really classified as a survival knife. It has the Rambo look, and it has the look of a maybe an M9 bayonet. This is a Smith & Wesson M9 bayonet. This knife weighs close to 15 ounces. This knife weighs 7.3 ounces. This knife, even though the look of it looks like this knife, it is not this knife. This is an actual bayonet knife, okay? So I don't want you guys to be confused, all right? So this just has some design cues of a bayonet knife. There's no wire cutter on the plastic sheath. I would have to modify this sheath. The belt loop is kind of funky. It goes through the belt there. It's stitched together up here. The straps are kind of loose, but regularly they sell this knife for like 21 bucks. So that's what you're going to get for it. But it does hold the knife. I would make some modifications to continue to use this knife. But anyways, good knife. That's why I got it. Some other items I got: the survival portable folding shovel. If you're going to carry this outside of a pack, upgrade the holder to that rubberized one. If you're going to throw it in a pack, this is fine. It'll keep the rest of your stuff from getting dirty. A little too flimsy to carry on the outside of the pack. But the shovel, and the reason I got this, why I chose this, it's not a knife, but I don't have an e-tool or a portable folding shovel. So I figured I'd try theirs, and I did, and it worked fine. Watch the video. There's footage of it. You can see I put some use on it. It has the pick in the back. That works great. The hardware is all good. It's they call it high carbon steel, high carbon stainless steel. The hardware is good. It's hardy. It locks up tight. It works really well. I was kind of surprised. At first I thought that cutting edge wasn't going to work so well, but I was surprised. That edge on the tip of the shovel is scalloped, okay? But watch the footage. I was pleasantly surprised. Folding shovel. Normally, 26 bucks I think they sell this for. You're going to get 30% off starting on the 24th, the morning of the 24th. Okay, there'll be a discount code in the description below. What else did I get? I got these 3 items. Let me take you down to the table. I got a tactical pen. Why did I get a tactical? They call it a EDC tool. Why did I get a tactical pen? Because I don't have one. It has a window breaker on the edge there, made out of tungsten. It's a nice pen. They normally go for, I think, 13 bucks, and they have different styles, some with knives in them, some with can openers, some with screwdrivers, flashlights. This one is just the pen with the glass breaker. It writes well, comes with an extra refill. It does have O-rings throughout to keep it dry. You can use it to write that way. You can put the cap on the end if you wanted to hold the cap there. Very nice. So there, tactical pen. I got that. And that glass breaker does not hurt your thumb if you need to put your thumb there. Don't even feel it, okay? I also got this multi-tool. They normally sell for 8 bucks. There'll be a discount code for 30% off. I don't know which of these items might be in the link or not. I'm not sure. There's going to be a link below in the description that you'll click on. Those are the items that are going to be available. We'll see what it is. But this little multi-tool, I thought it was interesting. I'm going to keep it in my camper. It can be used to be a phone holder. Okay, you put that part up there, you stick it in one of those holes, and it'll set on the table, and you can put your phone up in there, and it'll hold your phone. That part is a cap lifter. Okay, you have like a little nail pick. You have a knife. I will say dispatch knives. This knife is not sharpened very well. You need to sharpen this knife, okay? You have a Phillips screwdriver there, and you have a nice nail file. That nail file actually works pretty good. A little keychain holder. So a cool little multi-tool. All right, I got that because it was just different. I'm going to keep this in this small RV is what I'm going to do with that, okay? And then very nice folding knife here, D2 folding knife. They have several different ones. G10 handles. It does, I believe it is on bearings. Okay, that's D2 steel. Look at the shape of that blade. This kind of goes straight across and then it starts to curve. There's a little point there. When I sharpen it, when I have to sharpen it, I'm probably going to smooth that out. But very sharp knife. No joke. Okay, love that. Look at that reversed. I don't know if you can see that. There's a reversed swedge on the top of this blade. Come on, focus, focus. Look how nice that looks. Nice reversed swedge there. G10 handles, very comfortable. It's got this little notch in the back, and it kind of sucks my pinky in there, which I kind of like. Very nicely textured G10 handles. Really, you can lock in there. It's it's just a one-position pocket clip, so it's tip up for righties. And that's what it is. You got a lanyard hole. Look at the centering there. Perfect centering. Really. They normally sell this for, I think, 26 bucks. There's going to be a discount code for 30% off. Nice action. Very nice selection. I'm going to do a lengthier video on this knife in the future. So, all right, guys, I don't want to make this a very long video. Dispatch knives. The discount starts on the morning of the 24th Pacific time. I think they said 4 a.m. It'll start. There'll be a discount code. Let me know what items are there on the link. I don't know what exactly they're going to be. Hopefully it's some of these, and hopefully that works for you. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Common Sense Outdoorsman. We'll see you next time. Bye. All right, guys, so this is the Dispatch Tactical Survival Combat Knife, which is what they call it. And remember, what I want to find out is how is this lightweight knife going to hold up? Remember, this is very light, 7.3 ounces. Yeah, I understand it's made to look like a Rambo knife, a M9 bayonet knife, but that's not what this knife is, as I said. Okay, so I just want to see the tang with my magnet only comes in somewhere around this point to this second groove here. Okay, so this rubberized handle is molded over the knife blade. Remember, very thin knife blade, but still, for what I would use this knife for, I want to know that this knife is going to hold up for its build and is going to be able to do those tasks, which isn't really a heavy duty combat or survival knife. But let's see what this knife can do. I'm going to throw the sheath down there. Let's go down to my workspace. And remember, there's such a thing called physics and leverage. This is a thin blade, okay, which I believe to be 3CR13 MOV stainless steel, which is fine. But yeah, the knife is over 12 inches long, so with that leverage, can I snap this knife, bend the tip? Yeah, you're going to do that. But like I said, that's not what I would use this knife for. But we want to make sure it's going to hold up somewhat. So let's do a little bit of tip stuff here. And again, you're just not going to be able to go very crazy with this tip, but you do want to know that it's not going to break and that it's not going to bend too easily. Could I jam this in there and bend it or snap it? I sure could, very easily. It's just a physics thing. It's this thing called leverage, okay? This is not a 1/4 inch thick knife to where you're going to do those things with it, but I do want to make sure that that tip is going to hold out and not bend or break so easily, okay? And so far, so good, okay? I don't know if you can see it, but yes, if I stick this tip in there, I can bend it or break it easily, but that's not what I would use this knife for. All right, now let me do a little chopping, not because this is a chopper, it isn't, but I just want to make sure that this tang is going to stay inside this handle and not loosen up. So I want to put some use to it, some wear on it, see what happens. Okay. Now with this, remember I told you about this pommel area here. That gives you really a good grip, and it is comfortable feeling, but I can put my pinky behind there, get a little bit more swing going, and at first blush and chopping with this, kind of like it. Not a heavy chopper, not a big chopper. I really wouldn't use it for normal chopping tasks, but it is a sharp knife. No, forgot to do that. Let's just show you. Their knives, the Dispatch knives that I have, they have come sharp. So let's just give this a quick, yeah. Go this way, a little bit easier. So yeah, this is a sharpened knife. Back to the chopping. So if I can do some moderate tasks like this, and this blade stays in and doesn't come loose from the handle, from the molded handle, that's a good thing. Actually, it does chop pretty well. It's not bad for such a lightweight knife. This is a old, this was a dead standing aspen that I'm chopping on, so yeah. All right, yep, there's no looseness there at all. Just do some more because I want to make sure that this blade is not going to come loose. And again, this is not the primary task. Whatever dispatch knives have advertised this knife to do, you got to be a little smart, okay? This is a lightweight knife. This is not a combat knife. Could you survive with it like any knife? Sure, you could do some survival tests with it. You could clean game, you could cut things, you could take care of your kindling and stuff like that. You could survive with it, but it would not be one that I would choose to be my primary survival knife. Yeah, that is perfectly tight, not budging at all. We're going to do some batoning, but let me remember that saw back there, and whatever you think about that, it's not a primary saw. It's more of, you know, for notching and maybe for, like I said, when you dispatch your animal with it, you know, that'll do some damage, and that's what you want it to do. So let's so because of the shape of the blade and where the saw edge is, the saw back is, you're not gonna do a lot of sawing with this. Notching, yeah. Small branches, maybe. Yeah, it'll destroy some wood. And this sawback, it does have there is definitely, you know, some sharpness. It's catching my finger there. There is some sharpness to it. So, you know, for notching and general stuff like that, maybe sawing through a bone or something like that, sure, no problem with that. There is a little shock coming through the handle of my hand. It's not bad, but there is a little shock going on there. Remember, not the primary use of this knife. Just want to make sure the blade does not loosen from the handle. But to be honest with you, it can do a little chopping. Pretty cool, yeah. All right, the knife is still perfectly straight. It is not loose at all. Okay, so let's go to the baton. All right, guys, let's do some batoning with this knife, see what happens. We'll start with something small. Don't want to go too crazy here. This is tall, but it's not a heavy piece of wood. no problems there. Let's go something a little thicker. It's a nice thick piece of aspen. See what happens here. All right. Yep, that is still perfectly solid in that handle. Not seeing any problems with the handle or the steel. All right, let's go for a bigger piece. Let me see. What do we want to do here? Let's go for another good-sized piece of aspen. See what happens. Oh yeah. Yeah, no problems. No problems at all. All right, guys, let's try out their folding shovel, a e-tool, so to speak. And remember, if you're going to carry this outside your pack, I would upgrade this pouch, maybe to the rubberized one. But if you're just going to put it in a pack, as far as keeping the rest of the items in your pack clean, this is nice and lightweight, and it'll keep your dirty shovel separate. So I think that'll work fine. Let's open this shovel up. Really, for the $26 that they normally sell it for, this shovel really does feel solid. But let's do some entrenching with it first. I'm going to tighten it up. And the reason I chose the shovel is because, or an e-tool, I don't have one. I don't normally carry a shovel, and but I've wanted one. I've meant to buy one in the past. I just never have, but now I got one. So yeah, turn that down just by my bare hand, and it's pretty solid. All the hardware is good and solid. It's all metal. They say high carbon stainless. The thickness of the shovel itself is good and sturdy. The saw edges are not really sharp. This is kind of more of a excuse me, this is more of kind of a scalloped edge here. This is a little bit more jagged, so for taking care of tree roots and stuff like that, I guess it'll be okay. I would recommend, if to dispatch knives, that if they're going to tote this as a saw, that they actually make this a sharpened saw edge. We'll test it and see, but it's not going to be a great saw. And plus, you know, the shovel is curved, so how much sawing are you going to do with that? The pins, here it is. The shovel is riveted to the handle. The hardware looks to be all stainless steel, very sturdy. The pickaxe seems very sturdy. So let's go down to the ground and see what this thing's gonna do. Okay, yeah. The pickaxe is really loosening some roots in there for sure. Really loosening, and this dirt here is pretty hard, but you can kind of use the leverage to your advantage. If you get into something hard, kind of pry that up. Root there. So even the pickaxe is actually breaking through. That's a tough root right there. It's not going to break through that one. Another tough root there. It's a smaller root. Yep, popped right through that one. Okay, I'm digging around this root here. A couple of roots actually. So as any folding shovel will, it does loosen up here, but you just grab that and re-tighten it. So you can see that root right there. Let me clear this dirt out of the way. And straighten this out. It's a little harder to tighten it when you have it in shovel mode because your pickaxe is kind of in the way, but I think it'll work good enough. All right, and you can see that root right there. The scalloped edge of the front of the shovel, I mean, it's doing a little bit. It's not really going to saw through that scalloped edge there, if you can see that. Let's try the saw edge. Yeah, a little better. Okay. Huh. Actually, I may have misspoken earlier, but yeah, look at that. Right through there on that saw edge. I'm surprised. I did not think that saw edge was going to work that well. Yeah, I mean, it seems to be like a typical e-tool. I like it. I like it. Like I said, not something I would normally carry or feel like I would need, but if I did, seems pretty good. On the opposite side, if you wanted to do some chopping with it, you'd have to sharpen that side up. This side is not a sharpened edge, so more of a shovel. It does have the foot pads, so if you need to put a foot into it, you can do that. Yeah, so the Dispatch folding shovel e-tool, pretty good.